Ready.
Hey guys, Liam here. We're coming at you with another video. We just want to briefly explain too. We were not making a lot of videos this year because we were planning and doing the wedding, which went really well. Thanks to so many people for wishing us luck with our marriage and watching the video. It was a really pretty video, and I'm glad people liked it. But we have been very busy with the tiny house the last couple months. We're getting into winter, and so we badly needed a source of heat in here. Now, even getting electricity to the tiny house has been an issue because it's so far away from any service panel on the property. There's like a detached garage and a house, but they're all really far away. So we've been working the last couple months to get that figured out and then get a source of heat in here. So let me bring you guys through the story sequentially. After the wedding, we came back and we had this heat pump unit that we bought when we were planning our tiny house years ago. And this heat pump unit, which if you don't know what a heat pump is, it's like an AC unit, but it heats the house. It can also do AC, but it also heats the house. We had this thing sitting in the tiny house here for a long time, and we finally did the work of installing it. Now, it was a little bit challenging. We're going to show you guys in a moment inside the tiny house, which is where I started with the indoor unit that mounts on the wall. I needed to point it at the house so that it heats up like inside the living space, and there wasn't really a good spot for that, so I actually had to build a wall separating the little attic space here. You guys will see that in a moment, but had to make that nice and strong and everything. And that wall, I ended up then deciding that I wanted to add another space into it for like electrical utility stuff, like our main service panel and stuff like that, and all that stuff. We'll show you guys that in a minute. And then also on the exterior unit, this one was also a big challenge. This was all way harder than I expected it to be. Oh, that's cold there. The exterior unit is quite big and bulky. You imagine it just being a little box. You think like, oh, I could hide that maybe underneath the tiny house or something. But it has very specific requirements for how it's supposed to sit. It has to sit upright like this, which I was hoping to lay it down sideways. It has to sit upright. It's very tall. It's very wide. It needs access on this side. And then also in the instruction manual, which I've tried to follow very closely, they recommend a spacing here, and they require a really big spacing here because the fan blows wind this way. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's very, very cold air coming out through here. So you need to have room to this way. If we're driving with this thing, a lot of people said, like, if you guys are driving the tiny house, what's going to happen with this thing? We're just going to have to put a cover on it because the instruction manual specifically says that any wind above 70 miles an hour that would be entering the unit this way, you know, they're thinking on a house, but they're saying don't put it in a place that's really windy, that it's going to be pulling the motor like way around. That'll damage it. So we just put like a little wood cover here. It also recommended putting it in a spot that won't receive weather like rain and stuff. So for now we have this, but we'll probably make a better cover for it in time.
Yeah.
But let's go take a look inside. Now, after we installed the unit, it was a big challenge as well to run our AC refrigerant lines. You'd think once again like, oh, they're lines, you can, just kind of fit them through little spots and stuff like that. No, the instruction manual specifically says that you are not supposed to have little dips and stuff like that up and down because refrigerant will pool in the low spots. And so basically the gist of it is that it has to go pretty straight as much as possible. So in here, these are not up and down dips, but they're side to side dips. These are our refrigerant lines. I was going to put them through the engine bay, but that ended up really scratching them up and damaging the insulation on my first set of lines. So I had to order a new set. And but they swoop around anything and they're not going to get damaged. They're just sitting in just a right spot so that the wheels won't hit them and stuff. They go back underneath the house and then straight up about 10 feet to the AC unit. And then there's electrical conduit here. The unit, this also cost us quite a bit of money in wiring. The unit requires its 20 amp lines from the service panel to go out to this outdoor unit. And then it has control wires that are like proprietary ones. They're high voltage wires that come back to the machine. So you end up doing two really long wire runs, which is kind of pricey, especially with 20 amp wiring. Another problem we had is that the kit came with 16-foot lines, which was very close. It was like 18 feet between the units, but as a result, I had to order 25-foot wires and copper lines, which added some expense. It wasn't really that bad, but it was some expense. So,
some unexpected
expense, yeah. Now, we also, if you guys see over there, we have an overhead line. This is kind of jank, but it's so far from any electrical source. There's no plugs on the side of the garage. But we ended up just running like 2 extension cords, and then to not be getting them wet and to have them run over by the lawnmower, I carefully tensioned them so they sit up. But we now have 30 amp service to this garage, and I bought a 30 amp extension cord. We're going to set it up in a spot on the lawn that's less obtrusive. It's long enough to do that. There'll be a little bit of refinement with how this setup works, but it means that we now have 30 amps of service for the construction phase of the tiny house. And eventually we are going to have our solar set up and stuff, but we just can't deal with that now because that's outside work, and we're running out of time that we could do stuff outside. It's getting too cold. So this will give us heat. Heat pump will provide a lot more heat for a lot less money in electricity than resistive heating would, and so we're going to be using this. So let's go take a peek inside. All right.
Well, there's water coming out.
Yeah, that's from the roof. It's frosty.
So because of the heat, because it's warming up, so the
No, it's just frosty. It's warming up outside too. So I am standing right here basking in the heat pump's warm glow. It's in Fahrenheit mode right now, so I don't know how to set up Celsius mode yet. I'll play with that later.
You don't know how to set Celsius?
We just got this started. A little while ago. I started it probably, let's say an hour ago, and it was at 0 degrees. I don't remember the exact time I started it. And it's already got it up to 10 degrees. Granted, it's warming up outside, but I think it's still I think it's only like 2 degrees outside.
I don't think you said like an hour ago.
Maybe 40 minutes or something, yeah. So, in another half an hour, I think it's going to be 20 degrees in here. And it doesn't put out like boiling hot air. Like it's not like a resistive heater where it puts
warm air.
It's warm air, but it just keeps doing it. And so after a period of time, I mean, that speaks for itself. It's warming up the space, no doubt. It's definitely colder further away. The heat pump has a mode where it'll like move the things, but I think if we just give it a little bit of time, it's going to have the entire space warm pretty well. But I'm impressed with the unit. It's apparently pretty energy efficient. I have it just in max heat mode right now just because I just turned it on to work in here. But yeah, it's impressive. I like it. We'll probably give a better review of the unit after we've used it a bit more. Probably like living with it and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, for the winter part of our build, we're gonna be doing some more video updates on this because we're not busy with the wedding anymore, so we can keep doing updates. But we're going to do finish up these floors, get the heat lines in all the floors for later on when we have a wood-fueled boiler, hopefully. And we're going to finish cutting off the spray foam and then doing the wall panels, maybe doing the roof panels, do the staircase here, finish doing the bathroom walls and the walls here. We're going to be doing a lot of interior stuff because it's going to be heated in here. Now the heat pump won't work below minus 15, and there's a couple months in there where it doesn't get above minus 15 in the winter. And so people are asking well, what are you going to do then? In that case, we can just get a resistive space heater, I think, because we're going to have 30 amps of service here, so we'll have a couple outlets this weekend probably done. And so we can just plug in a resistive heater in that case and blow 1,500 watts of heat into here. I'm sure that will be using a lot more electricity, but we're probably mostly going to be using it just when we're working. So that's a big help. It gets very cold here, and we're going to try and get as much stuff done here in the winter as we can, and then get into the summer, hopefully do some of the outdoor stuff, and then I'm hoping it's done. But anyway, thanks so much, guys, for watching. We're going to try and bring more updates here this winter. Thanks for all the good wishes on the wedding once again, and we'll see you guys in the next video.